Chapter 13. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. 2171. Adam's Note. Entry number 1. My father. I was just an infant when our society had to migrate here and build a new home to protect us from the outside world and the deadly gas.
Your city or entire region may be endangered by a lethal agent. If conditions at your location make this a possibility...
My mother died during childbirth, and I never knew her. My family and I were the first to be transferred. My father, a scientist, worked on a team creating a cure for the toxic cloud and its viruses. Thanks to him, I developed a love for scientific research. As I grew older, I became a scientist myself, determined to find a solution to save everyone and free the world from this catastrophe. I wanted everyone to live without fear of the toxic cloud. In 2129, my dying father revealed a secret about experiments performed on adult gorillas, which involved mixing their DNA with other living creatures. However, these experiments led to a tremendous failure, as they created lethal monsters that began to destroy everything and kill our people. Before we built the fortress, we lived in underground bunkers, where we conducted these experiments until we were forced to flee. Because of these disastrous events, the search for a possible cure was interrupted. I still remember his last words precisely. "Find the bunker. This magnetic card opens the laboratory. There, you will find all research materials and the documentation of results that I had achieved, but failed to implement for reasons I cannot explain to you." Entry number 2. The Lost Bunker. Following my father's directions, I managed to locate the bunker. We had men, weapons, and serums that could slow down, but not eliminate, the effects of the gas. With the help of the Govergons, the representatives of the Supreme Council, we organized a search party to find the bunker and laboratory. We had been wandering in the wasteland for weeks now. One night, while everyone was sleeping, I heard a noise, perhaps a cry. I got out of my tent and heard more and more noises coming from outside our mobile camp, so I decided to follow them. I covered quite a distance until coming to an abandoned village where I met the beast that almost killed me. But Joshua, fortunately, saved me. He led me to the exact bunker we had been looking for a long time. Inside the bunker, I found the laboratory, which I was able to access thanks to the magnetic card my father had given me before he died. When my comrades, previously contacted by radio, reached me, we were able to retrieve a lot of research materials, including my father's latest results. I felt sorry for Joshua. I never meant for him to end up like that, but I could not leave any witnesses outside the fortress. Entry number 3. Mutant Kongs Project. Thanks to the documentation recovered in the bunker, I realized that for the DNA crossing process to be stable, we would not have to administer the mutagenic serum to adult gorillas, but would have to graft it directly into the mother's womb. My father came to the terrifying conclusion that the developing fetus would most likely accept the mutagen better. After years of failure, I finally succeeded in getting the first real positive result. In 2150, the first mutant and stable gorilla was born, marking the beginning of the Mutant Kongs Project. We selected 100 healthy female gorillas for this special pregnancy. In 2 years, numerous mutant Kongs were born, with 500 surviving their first days. Each developed different characteristics, and we studied and analyzed them to understand their unique DNA. Unfortunately, the serum injected into the fetuses caused a side effect. In the following years, we discovered that mutant Kongs manifested partial memory loss. distant memories became increasingly blurred or were completely removed. Years passed and experiments continued unceasingly. From the blood of the mutant Kongs, we obtained the stabilizer, a substance to be used during experiments on adult gorillas. Entry number 4. The Nemesis Project. The stabilizer allowed me to start the Nemesis Project, which aimed to find a definitive cure for the disease caused by the gas. Or rather, that was what I believed. We experimented with various species' DNA, but mutated DNA was not immune to all the complex viruses in the toxic cloud. I started the new experiments according to the formula GONS DNA plus MKZ stabilizer plus multi-species mutagenic serum. In the beginning, the early experiments of the Nemesis Project seemed to be encouraging. Thanks to the stabilizer, the patients did not reject the serum and did not experience the side effects that occurred during my father's experiments. I injected patients with DNA from every species at our disposal: reptiles, mollusks, amphibians, other mammals, insects, and even some species from the plant world. Lizard DNA appeared the most promising. Unfortunately, however, all my efforts were futile, and the discovery of a cure once again seemed impossible. As time went on, I found that the mutated DNA was not immune to all the complex viruses existing inside the toxic cloud. I was failing. As years passed, my desperation grew, and I continued experimenting. My patients paid the price. That's why I named it Nemesis, a testament to my battle for a cure and to honor my father's work. However, blinded by egocentrism and desperation in seeking a solution at any cost, I pushed beyond the boundaries of ethics, and the consequences turned against me. One night in January 2160, I was abruptly awakened by a guard. A huge fire had broken out in the warehouse where large supplies of food and water were stored. We soon realized that the fire was a diversion organized by some mutant Kongs' mothers to break the little ones out of the fortress. I quickly got dressed and joined the others outside. We attempted to block the escape, but many of the babies managed to hide in the dense forest nearby, making it difficult to track them. We had to find them and bring them back to the fortress. I needed all the mutant Kong's blood I could obtain to continue the Nemesis Project. Entry number 5. The Biggest Mistake. After years of failure and the escape of numerous prescient mutant Kongs, I fell into a state of depression. I didn't know what to do anymore. This temporary weakness of mine led me to join another research group parallel to ours, headed by Dr. James Wesker, a scientist disliked by our community due to his experiments that crossed the boundaries of decency and morality. He used a different class of living beings as the basis for his experiments: the dragons, who lived in the northeastern mountains. They were winged reptiles, also mutated by radiation. According to him, dragons' DNA would have been perfect for use in experiments. I was persuaded to assist him in his project involving the use of alien DNA. That whole endeavor was a terrible mistake. This type of DNA had been discovered long ago in the amber caves of the northeastern mountains, but even back then it was considered too unstable to be tested. On that occasion, however, we decided to use it and mix it with dragons' DNA. The outcome was disastrous, resulting in monstrous beings, utterly destructive and dangerous for all of us. So we decided to abandon the project and eliminate the test subjects. I refocused on the Nemesis Project, determined to find a cure at all costs.